Of course. I'm going to say that one more time. Welcome to the 18th episode of Born in Trouble. I'm your host, John X. How y'all feeling this evening? I'm with, of course, my man from the A, Mr. Dub K, Gene Hopkins.
Hot, Atlanta. It's 100 degrees.
Man, at least it's not on fire. Literally. And speaking of fire, the Citywine Kang, member of the Detroit FD, Mr. Grant Lancaster.
What up, though? How you be?
It's all good. It's all good. Feeling good. Feeling good. You know, it's crazy. I didn't even think about the fire connection. How do you feel about all these fires that are coming up? As a fireman, you probably are appalled. Just angry.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hate them.
Absolutely pissed
I hate
off.
fires. Yeah, I can't stand fires.
Damn flames going up everywhere. You got the right job for the future. They're talking about you have to hunt. I don't know where you're going to be hunting.
Right.
We're going to be hunting in the ashes. All the forests are going to be gone.
Yeah, but them animals going to go somewhere.
On my plate.
Nature will always take over.
On my plate. Well, you know what the crazy thing about Hawaii, I was saying there, you know they're about to investigate Oprah over that. Because Oprah, her properties didn't, yeah. I seen
Everything burned up except Oprah shit?
Yeah, everybody burned up except for Oprah shit, so they mad. So they're about to investigate because, you know, Oprah did it. Oprah set
Get rid
the
of the
fires.
competition.
Wouldn't it be
Get rid
crazy?
of the competition, baby.
Wouldn't it be crazy seeing Oprah in a cat burglar suit running out late at night with one of those long torches that you use to light your barbecue, just lighting shit on fire. It's like, yo, property value. Yeah, but they're about to, because they got mad at her. They had those fires and people were displaced, and they had people in, like, say, like the local high school, whatever. She gave them supplies, and she bought supplies, and she bought cameras.
And then she offered to buy their place to help them out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just to help them out while they're down. You know, I'll buy it from you, as you know, at market value.
It's nothing but ash now anyway. You're not getting any pineapple or tahikis out of here. I don't even know what a tahiki is. I'm making that shit up.
I can imagine though. There are the wolves are circling. Or the sharks, since we're talking about Hawaii, the sharks are circling for that. You know, it's always come back in and do something different. Don't rebuild everybody's house. You know,
Chaos is a ladder.
Huh?
Chaos is a ladder.
They're about to feel that.
They're about to give them that. I like that.
They're about to give them that New Orleans treatment, that Fifth Ward treatment. Right.
Yeah.
Fifth Ward treatment. What is it? Yep.
Yeah.
One of them.
Buying them out.
They had a series about that. It was actually pretty good. I'm sure I watched it from beginning to end about the whole, I guess, the time period, different characters who were going through the time period of just after Katrina.
You know what? What do you remember most about that time, about that show?
Well, to what we were speaking about, they had people positioning in politics. There were people in office that were working with construction or developers, and it was a scheme to, you know, get certain blocks of land, if you would, and they had to do all this trickery with the people who were there, the current owners, and so, I mean, because they had a huge agenda is the point. And so I'm sure agendas are developing, if not already on full go, for the Hawaiian land that got burnt.
And apparently they're actually making these plans out by Oprah's pool house. So, she got chef out there doing up lobsters and steaks and barbecue and pineapple pieces for everybody. They'll have it all pretty soon. You go, Oprah.
Yeah, somebody already got it. That shit is already a done deal.
That's what people are saying about it. What I remember about Katrina the most is, even it's based upon what you just said, Gene, actually, is that how easy it was to get those people's land, because as someone who's in the real estate business, just to see how they did business and how they showed ownership in Louisiana, which in a lot of cases was a piece of paper or a handshake agreement with somebody's father or daddy or uncle, and everybody respected that. When it was time to collect from FEMA, those handshakes weren't able to go down on paper, and now they live in Texas. So
Right.
that's what I remember most about that, which is crazy.
What's bugged out? We had a firefighter conference in New Orleans that same year. So Katrina hit in like August, right? Mm-hmm. We was down there in like June.
And you came to see me, right?
Yep. Had a blast down there, Brad. And the next time I went back, man, just seeing all those little shanty villages and all that kind of shit with people, it was horrible, man.
Yeah.
It was a horrible way for people to have to, so many people got displaced and went to wherever they sent them to. They sent a bunch of them to Texas. They sent some here. I'm sure they sent some to New York, Atlanta. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, I'm sure they were all over the place, but horrible way for them people to go out, man.
Crime wave went up
like refugees.
Crime rate went up in Atlanta when they came.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
They came with nothing. They came
with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Came with nothing.
Yeah. When people are desperate, that's what happens. That's what crime happens.
Right.
That's not even like I just said that like I was breaking some news there. That's how it goes, right? Motherfuckers don't have nothing, they rob you. So excuse me, everybody.
It's coming. Like a smooth transition into let bricks pop off, and we'll see it to a scale that we hadn't even imagined. Right. Let that I was just telling somebody, you know how significant it really is for the dollar to crash? I mean, to us, like to our daily living and stuff.
Crazy.
I don't think people really. I don't think they understand mostly because there would be a whole lot more talk about this and figuring out if all those folks move to the yen with the whole BRICS agreement and the dollar drops, shit. The floodgates from Katrina is going to look like nothing, invisible compared to what happens, just a huge wave across the country. Because I don't know what the number is, but I can tell you this. Let gas get above $10 a gallon and see how that affects everything.
Let me tell you something, Gene. I fucks with you, Gene, because you know what? Cats don't think you that deep, but what you just said is some level shit that everybody needs to be thinking about. They need to be like, they have no concept as to what's going on. Everybody in Africa is like, they're up in arms. And the world is about to change. But the United States is probably more likely than not planning on military action in Africa in order to stop all this nonsense.
Who, us?
Right.
Oh my stars! Oh my stars!
They gonna sing the song too. March on, Christian soldier.
Well,
marching off to war. That's how they gonna feel about it.
Well, we've been talking about what's going on over in Mali. And what is that country? Niger.
Niger.
I should have known that. Just remove a G. So
the epicenter. For what?
That's what they're saying down south. That's what the good old boys are saying. That makes it easier. Just remove a G. What country is it? Just remove a G and you'll figure it out. They're uppity.
Yes, they're giving daily. There are people who are, just private outlets, if you would, giving daily updates to the whole situation in Niger, and it seems like it's progressing. Like every week it's progressing into whatever it's going to be. But that's exciting news, man. We got the bullshit over here. Turn to CNN and Fox, man. I'm talking about straight horse shit.
So you're
local
saying,
news.
So let me get this right. You're saying thank you, China and TikTok.
Well, yo, look. I can see it. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. It allows me a small window in, and to tell you the truth, there's very little else interesting to me.
Well, because you know that the rest of it is just spun up into the same cake. There's yellow cake, there's chocolate cake, there's white cake, and that's what you get in the U.S. But what's going on right over there in Africa right now? That's some Dutch marble and some that's a Twinkie. Even
right.
some big time flavors going.
It's something. It's almost like the light switch went off. Went on, I should say. The light switch went on, and it's almost like people out of nowhere came this position. Oh yeah, we're done with that shit now. That should be a hashtag. Right. Done with that shit.
Done with that shit. Yeah, right.
Because they're all starting to sing some version of that. Mm-hmm. We're done with that shit.
But this all started with Gaddafi, though. You know what I mean? When he was trying to change, from using the dollar. He wanted to use wanted to use a different currency than the dollar. I mean, and they I don't know how, but somehow he ended up dead.
I know how.
Them nations over there, they know what happened.
Yeah, because Gaddafi
and they're like, all right, fuck that.
Gaddafi was their de facto leader in a lot of ways. Well, the narratives we get in the United States and the actual what Gaddafi was and everything completely and totally different. Of course, America had to demonize Gaddafi because Gaddafi was he was empowering his people, and he was empowering those that supply us with the raw materials that allow us to dictate to the rest of the world. And
check this out.
Well, he was empowering non-white people.
Yeah. But check this out.
Happen.
Well, actually, the two things that I just said, and what you just said are not non-exclusive. They are the same. It's just people don't realize that half of the world's gold, I believe, is from Africa. Like 90% of the platinum in the world, all these like precious minerals.
It's the richest. It's the richest continent. It's the richest continent in the world.
It kind of puts
in terms of resources.
Let me tell you. Hey, when I read Diop's book, I'm going to tell you, he talked a lot about the evolution, if you would, of Libya. And when you put in perspective that I'm pretty sure, I hope I'm not remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure Libya is like where a whole bunch of defeated criminals was. Like they tried to rise up against Egypt several times and got smacked down. I'm thinking somewhere around 1600 BC. And then, there was more references to, the types of groups that were occupying Libya and everything else. And so, but, people have spoke to that and said Gaddafi was organizing motherfuckers that just wanted to kill each other all the time. That history is interesting. Yeah.
He saw the Warriors.
Yeah.
It was the Warriors happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. You bring all the different tribes together. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was anticipating war because that's what they gave him ultimately at the end. That's what he had to be. He knew what was going on. I mean, all the stuff that Gaddafi was doing, he was trying to set up his own monetary system for African nations. He actually built a water pipeline. He actually built a water pipeline from the desert that was going to irrigate African lands, arid African lands, which would allow them to no longer have to rely on food from the West. And what did the United States do? They blew that motherfucker to smithereens.
Damn. Did he just use arid in a sentence?
Did I say arid? I said arid?
He just used arid in a sentence.
No, but I have motherfucking
John X.
I have a vocabulary.
John X is a motherfucker.
I just have to make believe I don't have one. So no, but this is like he was planning on reinvigorating Africa, and it seems like he did leave some type of a legacy with the leaders of Africa because of the way that they're moving now. And I was just wondering, are we going to get to see Gaddafi's legacy changed in the United States? Do you think they're ever going to...
What do you mean?
Well, we know that what we know in the United States of Gaddafi is that he was killing his own people. He's a butcher. He was
look,
rapist.
They ain't even told the truth about us yet. They ain't even told the truth about us yet. What you think they gonna tell us? Start telling the truth about him? Never that.
Well, then it's always up to the people to actually do research for themselves. So do you think that the black ADOS, if you want to call that, you think that they're going to take the time to maybe have a revisionist view of what Muammar Gaddafi was?
Man, you know what? No. There's 100 things that they could, efforts that they can make to become enlightened in 100 different areas. Shit, he's just one of them, and it's unlikely. It's unlikely unless it becomes, a TikTok sensation.
Right.
Dude, Gaddafi,
it's
Gaddafi was actually, if you're outside and you're in the United States, you're going to be scared of him. But if you were a citizen of Libya, you probably loved him. Every citizen in the country of Libya got a portion of the oil profits from Libya.
I'm going to tell you where he went wrong. This is where, they're proving it now, where Gaddafi went wrong. They're proving it now. He should have went and talked to Russia and China. And I don't know if that year Russia and China were not in position to be strong enough yet. I'm not sure, but I know they've always been strong countries because that's what Africa is doing right now. Not that Africa is doing that. Those are the people who are down with the African program, and they would have been down with the Gaddafi program unless China absolutely insists that it be the yen everybody paying that's in bricks. I don't know. But Gaddafi was backing shit with gold, and he had it. Or with the oil, he was about to back with oil, gold, or actual substance. I'm telling you, and they killed him, but they can't just do China and Russia and who's the B? Brazil, right? Who's the I? Iran?
There's Iraq and Iran. Both
Iraq.
Both of them. Okay. And so the eyes, if you would, they can't just do that to what they did to Gaddafi. And so that's why what's going on over there in Africa is so significant, because it's about much more than the Niger coup.
Okay, so let's go back into a very deep historical lesson. The Council of Trent and Nicaea, it's rumored when they, quote unquote, introduced the Christian religion to the African nations and the African church leaders, and some of them objected. They raised their hands and said, we object. Anyone object to this? We object to it. Well, all those people got their heads cut off. And then they had another vote the next day, and it passed. So, in the Western spirit of, listen, nothing ever changes. People think that things change, but from the first century up until this century, as long as the tactics work, they get passed along from generation to generation to generation. And what these people know is that barbarism works. We're not talking about that's why it's so illogical for a scholar to get up there, stand up there and say, we're the smartest people on the earth, when we know that you just had the most ferocious, bloodthirsty individuals on your side, and the others were more civilized. I've seen things on Africa, and this young lady, she kind of put it perfectly in talking about Africa and phrasing it. They came to Africa. We invited them to sit down at our tables. They told us to get out of our homes. After the meal, they told us to walk outside, and they kept our homes. This is how these people work. And with that in mind, with all the stuff that's going on in Africa, it's time to talk about the U.S. military. That's right, the U.S. military. In Africa, they actually have closed about 9 locations, right? We have 15 enduring locations that are known as military bases across Africa, 12 less permanent contingency locations. Those are like, I guess, like a bunch of tents in the desert or in the woods, wherever. But we all know the United States, what they call a less than permanent place can actually stand for 50 or 60 or 100 years with the buildings that they're building. So 27 in total across the African nation, spread across Kenya, Niger, Ghana, Cameroon. There are actually 2 in Niger, which is interesting, permanent bases. The main one being a drone base, meaning they don't even have to leave home to just start picking people off, and 4 less permanent places. So, when is it that the United States, seeing that what I led with Gaddafi blowing up this pipeline, water pipeline, the United States blowing up Gaddafi pipeline back in the day, when is it that the United States starts flexing its muscles in Africa? Because they're talking to China, they're talking to Russia, but the United States is already there.
No, Russia's there now too. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so is China.
And so is China. But no, the United States, first of all, you know when there's a ruckus somewhere and there's 10 people who's ready to jump on one dude, but you know, he's 7'5" and he weighs 350 pounds, and he just be walking around looking at everybody. Yo, what y'all betting? That's what they over there doing now with their base. You know, basically, you give us a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because he's ready to open up the can already anyway. So that's there, and they're gonna hold to some bullshit ass agreement or something that they got inked, and a violation of that is an attack against our country, or even if you mess with it. So that's gonna be there. But they have to really go to the think tanks, and they're probably doing all type of motherfucking espionage right now going on. In so many different ways, they're calling on all resources, probably. And so once it comes down to brass tacks, it's good. If they pull the trigger, I won't be surprised, because that's the type of shit we do. But we're not. We always sell an event to rally the folks around. You know what I'm saying? I'm more curious on what that sale is going to be, what that sales presentation is going to look like, who it's going to include, what charges they're going to trump up on who, I don't know.
I just want to know where are they going to start shooting first? Grant, do you have any thoughts on it?
America. First of all, America is gonna do some sneaky shit. They ain't gonna do no up in front of in your face type shit. You know what I'm saying? America is gonna plant a subversive in there. They're gonna try to infiltrate something, and then they gonna handle it that way. They're not just gonna come with the bombs and shit, or the infantry or whatever.
So I'm gonna move us back to Libya on that point that you just made, because the United States did have more locations in Africa. But it's like 6 or 8 of these places. And I want your comment on this, Grant. 6 or 8 of these places that have been pulled up recently, and apparently where they were pulled up was from Libya. And the reason why they left Libya is because Libya is in the throes of a civil war. So since they're in the middle of a civil war, the United States is saying, "Hey, we're going to leave." And we're not going to return until someone declares a ceasefire. In other words, half of you motherfuckers are dead, and the other half of you guys are looking for help. Then we'll come in, and we'll help you out, and we'll change it. But the subversive thing, they left when the Civil War started. So that sounds to me like some operative thing, getting one side amped up to go after the other side, and now they out. It's like, that's like, like girls in short
sounds like somebody
skirts.
stirred the pot.
Yeah, it's like a girl in a short skirt. Like,
sounds like somebody stirred the pot. Absolutely.
How you doing, Leroy? Hey, Tyrone. I'm going to go outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whichever one gets punched less.
But
Go ahead.
But they ain't acting like that in Africa right now. This pot, they're not acting like the pot's even close to being stirred. They're acting like the energy I see is everybody's like, nah, fuck the bullshit. Yeah, let's ride with this slogan, "We done with this shit," and put aside differences. I don't hear a bunch of news about these factions raising up here and there to try to, you know what I'm saying, get some shit kicked off.
But Gene, as long as there's one war going on, there's always a chance for the United States. And that's what Libya is. It's a great hope for the United States. Which side are they arming? Go ahead, Grant.
Both.
Right.
Yeah. This is. I mean, you seen Trading Places. It sounds like you guys are a couple of bookies. You know what I mean? You just, it's a win-win for you. You know what I'm saying? You got weapons. Yeah, you take some weapons over here, and then you take some weapons over here, and then whoever left standing, my man, I helped you out.
My dude, right? I got you. Don't forget.
I
used to mess with your sister.
Right.
Yeah, DMX.
X, those are good. X, I wonder the same thing. I wonder how, but I'm like Grant. We're going to do some sneaky shit for sure, but I'm wondering when it's going to get kicked off. When we going to try some bullshit?
Right now. It's going down right now. It's not even the United States. If we're just gonna say the West, but right now the United States and the Western interest are being debated over croissants in France right now, because France are the ones that are taking the direct brunt from these African countries, because Mali actually stopped them from flying in their Malian airspace right now. They had Air France had suspended flights, and they were ready to resume flights, and they were like, nah, that's okay. Don't even bother. And don't fly over our country. So they're making it harder for the French to go back and forth and exploit Africa right now. And this is in result to the country minus the G, Niger, and the big uprising that's going on there. And listen, I make a joke about it, but bravo. You know what I'm saying? They're taking control of their own destiny, and it's a stepping stone. And as African Americans who are always looking for reparations, who's to say that our reparations aren't coming from the motherland at some point? Because once this all goes down and they start choking people out, we've seen a lot of African leaders say, hey, we don't like the way you treat our brothers and sisters in the United States of America. Or
Brazil or any of the places.
Or any of those other places. So is this the changing of the demographics of the country that all of these white nationalist groups are so afraid of? This uprising, and it starts in Africa.
It could be. It could be very well. I hope that. You said they can't do a fly over their country anymore because we're gonna shoot you down with Russian supplied weapons. But no, I hope that it really sparks, or it not trickles down, but it kind of evolves into Africa being in control, since they have the goods, so to speak, in their country, and even becoming a powerhouse to the point where they are able to influence a reparation over here in some way. Because I don't think there's going to be a call for everybody to go back there unless the land over here is no good anymore or something, I can see that. But no, if they are the center, then maybe they're the new powerhouse, such as Europe or America, and they are stretched out to where their locations are at different places and stuff. Man, I'm going to tell you something. When I think about America, I think about the Ku Klux Klan. I'm telling you, I think about the Ku Klux Klan in energy. I'm not talking about that dumb and everything. I don't think they'll ever see. I think that they're the person that has to get whipped really well if the world is demanding they fall back to number 7 or 8 or 9. They're just not going to do it.
But here's the thing. They I don't think that they'll believe it even if they see it. White people look at us like we're superior fucking pets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're there for their entertainment. Like in 2023, if you white, you can still live your whole fucking life and not really have to interact with any black people if you don't want to in this country. You see what I'm saying? You can move to a place where there's no fucking black people. And the only black people that you see are on television and in movies. That's some amazing fucking shit.
Or passing
right?
through.
So, yeah, right. So, even if they saw it, I don't think that they will believe it. And then the other piece of this thing is, when you're looking at Africa, you got to extract all of the European influences out of Africa. I mean, how many French? Yeah, I don't know how many French territories in Africa, but you got to extract that fucking influence out of there in order for them to be able to unify themselves. It's going to be hard to find. It's going to be hard for them to unify while they're mixed in with, you know what I mean? While they're mixed in with the enemy.
Let me go
you know
back to.
It's going to be hard for them to unify.
Let me go back to Gaddafi for a second. Gene, you had said something about, I don't understand why Gaddafi didn't go to China and go to Russia. There's a prevalent thought process in regards to this, that China and Russia are just really, I saw an African leader today. He said, the United States came in here and they had us for breakfast. China just got done having us for lunch, and now Russia wants to come in and have us for dinner. There's no doubt about the fact that when we talk about these superpowers going into Africa and African territories and African nations, they're there for the raw materials. They're not there necessarily to break out democracy. Their beef with the United States is because the United States keeps them from getting to these things. And I think that's probably the reason why Gaddafi wasn't really trying to mess with Russia too much, not mess with China too much. He tried to get arms from them, and he tried to see what they would actually do, but he wasn't trying to convert to
I'm going to tell you.
He wasn't trying to convert to another currency. He was trying to create his own African currency.
He needed, what I'm saying is that he needed their size to pull that off when he tried to pull it off. Because at the end of the day, you can say what you're going to do, but if it upsets the current world order, you better have a military.
Well, here's the thing about
especially when they got him. But now it's a little bit different. And still, you better have a military. Now it's even more on the world stage. But now the people who are trying to upset the order, that's the only thing I'm comparing it to, is upset the order. Now they have the two that I mentioned, and those two are real powerhouses. And so I was just saying that to say that if Gaddafi had that kind of strategy that, no, I need to do this, that, or something similar to what, and I don't even know that it could have been a strategy, because this certainly wasn't.
Yeah, I think
if it was, bravo. I want to hear about it one day. How they got together and said, this is how we're going to do it. Bravo. Right. I hope it was. It's almost like, it seems like it's just like happening organically, so to speak.
Right. Right. Well, it is somewhat happening. Those seeds were planted back in the day by Gaddafi and his ideas. And they're actually, like right now with the civil war in Libya, they seem to be wiping out the remainder of that plan. And there really isn't, well, you know what? I can't say that because I don't know enough about the region. But maybe there is a strong leader there. But generally, the way the United States handles these things, they don't handle these things with big troops. They handle these things with snipers. They handle their things with murder and assassins. You don't really need too many people to send out one drone to shoot somebody down. They've been doing it surgically in Iraq for years, in Iran and Afghanistan and all of the territories that they had occupied over the past 20 years.
But can they do it surgically in Russia and China? Can they do it surgically in Russia and China, or can they do it surgically in places that Russia and China are allied with? That's the question.
Well, Africa is sort of like its neutral territory. And that's the reason why I mentioned all of the bases that they already have existing on the continent that are spread out surgically in order to either protect, attack, or sow controversy. Well, I hope not. I hope not, because, the reason why you root for these things, the hope for everyone is for truth to come out, in the future, for truth to be out there, and for men to find a way to actually live together, which is seemingly impossible. Humans have been on this earth for thousands of years, some say millions of years. We've got tools that are millions of years old. So my thought process that this world has existed and been destroyed and will exist again in the same way is probably the pattern that people have to go through until they find a way to actually work things out. So that's just my thought process. So
well, I mean, all great civilizations have crumbled.
Yeah. And this one is probably no different, especially with all these fires. You know, if Oprah,
especially with our resume.
Well, if Oprah moves into your neighborhood, you're more likely to have fires now. It's like this woman used to give away cars. She used to give away cars.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's setting forest fires. I remember when she had Smokey the Bear on her show. Oprah, Smokey the Bear would be disappointed right now. Smokey would be very disappointed in you, Oprah. Stop setting forest fires. Now, you know Oprah ain't do that shit. Oprah ain't do that shit. She like, OJ, not guilty.
None of them goddamn distractions even interest me anymore. I think the older I get, the more they could be doing whatever. Wouldn't matter to me. Shit.
I love it. I love that they do it because otherwise, what the hell would I crack up laughing at? Because it's like it's really not serious. Oprah burning down people's houses,
right? In
a raccoon suit. We know you ain't no raccoon. You're too big to be a raccoon. You running around, setting fires, running back to the house, and everything. Gail over there dressed like a bear. Meantime, she got kerosene in the tail behind her, setting all the palm trees on fire. Oh. Oprah, what you doing in Hawaii? You ain't supposed to be doing all that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Oprah Winfrey retired and became an arsonist. She became an arsonist. That's what happens. See, that's the reason why I only want $1 billion. Because if you get $2 billion, you get too bored, and you start running around. It's a life of crime. Next thing you know, Oprah's going to be in jail. Next to Gail.
Hey, maybe billions drive you crazy.
What did you name this episode? Oh, that name was just clickbait, huh?
That was clickbait to get you here. Because I know you wanted to. Because Gene will do 50 other things. No, but I knew you wanted to talk about Africa. I knew you wanted to talk about Africa. And no, it was French fingers. Because basically that's what Africa's doing. Giving a whole bunch of French fingers. Because while we're talking about the United States, I'm talking about the United States as the setup or the lead up to what's going to happen next. It's actually going down in France right now.
You guys ever heard any of the details of some of the treaties or most of the treaties that France put in place to the folks that were colonized?
Yes.
To rape Africa?
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so noteworthy because it is so extreme. And then they actually have an event. I believe it was either maybe 58 or 68, one of those years. One of them bucked. Forget if it was one of the Guineas or
Uganda. Are you talking about Uganda?
Is that what year was that?
I'm not really sure.
I don't know if it was Uganda though. I don't know if it was Uganda.
There's a lot of places that have went up against French and Belgian. The Belgian people, they were the worst. Leopold was like, he was like 1,000 times worse than the other guy that we know from Germany as far as his death toll and his numbers are concerned. But I guess that's why they came up with the 1/5 of a man thing, so that way they can actually equal those totals, because that guy was cutting off ears, he was killing people, they were taking out whole villages, and France's history with the African continent is one of violence. It's one of extreme violence. This is how they have conquered everything. They have come in, they kill, they steal. What I thought about was when I saw something about all the, like 90% of the world's platinum is in Africa, I believe. 90% of the world's platinum, half of the world's gold. How in the hell do we talk about this being the poorest continent on the face of the earth and nobody stealing from them?
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine in the United States, somebody in Texas, Mexico being the richest country in the world, and Texas being dirt poor because Mexicans were mining all the Texas oil, and nobody thinking anything was wrong with that picture or that setup? Nobody ever questions it whatsoever. You know, these people. No. We got UNICEF commercials, bro. UNICEF commercials with black people, with black babies and African babies that can barely, like, that are like this thin at like 10 years old. And all of that wealth that's on that continent, and you're not stealing from them? It's...
Yeah, no, it's not even mind-blowing anymore. It's common truth now. That's what I'm saying. That's why everything is changing. It's not, you know, it's becoming more and more common truth. And now when the truth spreads, the question is, okay, here's the truth. What are you going to do about it? This is unprecedented in that there's never been any truth to just spread like this in any era in the world where everybody is kind of like aware, oh, no, okay, so, yeah, we know real history, and these people are... we're pretty fucked up right now. We've been acting like Sally Struthers, all the bullshit, you know, the perception we give, we the Red Cross of this goddamn world, that we the super Christians that go and help everybody and stuff. But in reality, we're that dude in that one series with Forrest Whitaker where he plays the gangster. He goes and calls this dude to handle
Big Dick Buster.
Yeah, that's who we are.
Big Dick Buster.
We're Big Dick Buster, and we're just not. That's the only perspective that we've seen it.
Well, it's part and parcel with everything that goes on in this country. You know what I mean? So it's not just in this country. It's across the globe that black and brown people are beneath or are somehow lesser than. So how could they have the richest continent? How could they possibly, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that they could create their own currency. There's no way that they could do these things. So that narrative has been spread so far and wide that it's almost unfathomable to a lot of people that Africa could have as many resources as they have. You see what I'm saying? Because if they had all of these resources, you would think that these people would be better off than they are. Right. However, the reason that people don't think that we are better off, that Africans are better off than they are, is because of the narrative that's been pushed. It's not a true narrative. It's a false narrative.
Yeah,
right.
They're evil.
They're savages. They're whatever.
Yeah, savages.
Right.
Witch doctor. Yeah. They deserve all that. You know, that's what you get when you play with the devil. Just like
using Christianity. You use Christianity to justify slavery.
Exactly.
All these things that you do, they all become implanted in the psyche, not of just Americans. You know what I mean? They become implanted in the psyche of everybody in the world, that blacks are somehow inferior, and they get what you give them. They don't deserve anything. They're superior pets.
Right.
They're superior pets. That's all they are.
Right.
So fuck yeah, France is in there taking everything they can fucking get.
Yeah. But you know what? People, I'm telling you, what pops up on my feed, these people are educating now, like, and making it clear in front of huge crowds and stuff at huge events. They're doing things really, really off tradition. I mean, the meetings that they're having with BRICS and the conferences they're having amongst each other, and some of the realizations that they don't even want to go to these bullshit conferences anymore. Yo, we done with those. Fuck y'all. Yeah, because y'all, that's what y'all been telling us. We've been up there begging. Y'all be having us at these world conferences begging for shit. Or you have our corrupt representative up there, doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just basically just wallpaper shit. He worthless. And so now they're saying, nah, no more. That's the beautiful thing, man. I'm excited about all that, but I'm not excited about what bloodshed might have to come because Big Dick Buster ain't,
Well, there's a call from a few African leaders I saw this guy in particular say, the diaspora that spread across the world, come back to Africa, bring your knowledge, bring your skills, and let's develop our home. Let's develop a home. But here's the thing, though. Many African people, we know that they've been here. We didn't all traverse to these shores by ways of like African slave ships. There were many people that were already here. That's what the untelling of history is. You have stories of people that of explorers that actually saw the same types of tribes and buildings and huts that they had seen in Africa on the shores of Florida and Louisiana. This is what the origins of what they call like somewhat the Geechee people, where it's kind of like they're saying that they were there. A lot of them say they were there well before. So should black people automatically look at it? And then also a lot of black people don't want to go to Africa. They feel like this is home.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
because plenty people toiled. Well, it don't matter if it was someone like 12 years a slave that got nabbed that was already here or whatever. It don't matter if it was that or somebody was brought over after whichever event. Generations spent, or there was generations that had to get born and die, give birth and die, and this without ever seeing anything except for chattel slavery. And so, they deserve that shit now. You know what I'm saying? America has a debt, man. Fuck that. They got a debt.
So I heard Dr. Umar, and I don't know when this clip was from, but he was talking about we should be called American Africans.
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that what we are, African is the noun.
Yeah.
American is the adjective that describes the noun.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. So this whole, if we want to go back to Africa, that should be fine. But if we don't want to go to Africa or go back to Africa, that should be fine as well. Because my cousins live around Detroit, in Florida, in New York, in Chicago, wherever my cousins live. And I'm sure that somehow down the line I have cousins in Africa, but I don't know the niggas.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't know me.
Nigers.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know each other.
Yeah.
So that's a hard sell to a lot of people. So yeah, it should be okay. If
I would. Yeah. You don't need to go back to Africa unless you're extremely young, right? Or most importantly, you have a specific purpose that aids in everything, that helps the development and stuff, or a specific aptitude for a purpose that would help, or whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like a reverse U.S. naturalization policy, where they only allow people who have degrees and have advanced technologies to come over there. We need to we need to take our advanced degrees and bring them over there.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, nothing like how we do it. I'm talking about with the intention that this is ours too. It's more like a choice between ours and ours than having to go there to establish something. What I'm saying, going back there is righteous and everything if you have those purposes, or if you have the means or whatever that you're going to help wherever you're going. But if our age, shit, you either got to be extremely old or young, because extremely old, then you rocking with some young people that's left and you don't give a fuck about friends, cousins no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with my great grands, you know. I'm taking this journey with it. You know, but our age, it's like what Grant said. No, not right now. You know what I'm saying? It's too many people hooked in over here that would look at me funny if I asked them to go.
Grant, you have anything you want to add to that, or?
No, I mean, I think we kind of put a lid on that. You know, I mean, like I said, man, I think it's a beautiful sentiment to go back. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the things that I want to do. It was something that I had promised my daughter I would do for her upon her graduating college, and I still haven't had an opportunity to do it yet. But I want us to go visit Africa because I'm interested. You know what I'm saying? And possibly at some point relocate.
All right.
But you got to establish that. You got to establish that line. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start meeting some folks. You can't. I don't think I would just want to go there at 70 and be like, all right, I'm here.
A refugee.
Right.
Right.
Welcome.
Right.
I'm 70. I'm American. I'm going to need 3 of your most nubile young women.
How much for your women?
And and a juicer, because we got to stay healthy. I'm going to be here for a long time.
Y'all finna start. I'm finna start on Mandarin, man, while y'all playing.
Yeah, listen, fellas,
that way I can
man,
go anywhere, goddammit.
I love the way that y'all humor me with these crazy conversations that I come up with, and you know, seriously, because like this whole African thing. What's going on with Africa? They're not covering it in the United States of America. We all know that the answer for the United States is always at the end of a bullet or some poison or something of that nature, and that's what we're probably looking at saying next go down for people who decides to go in a different direction. And it's not a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing. But I'm curious as to, only thing I know right now is that this world is out of balance and it's out of whack. And until it gets back in balance, I'm open to see anything different. And maybe, you know, changing the way that the world does business, or probably the way that the world does business, will be a good thing for everybody on the planet. We all know we can't just have Oprah going around burning down people's houses out of greed. So we got to do something.
Bad Oprah.
Yes, before Blue Ivy grows up and starts like learning from Oprah. And then, you know, we got to them's just jokes. Them's just jokes. We having a good time here. But fellas, yeah, we wrapped up. We're just about done with the 17th episode. You did it.
Wow. Imagine that.
So, Gene, the clickbait, was it worth it?
With no practice.
Was it worth it to come
down? Well,
I
mean, it didn't matter what topic you put, you know, because I was going to have to, I was just kind of watching my range when I was out there driving today. And so I wasn't going to be too far out where I had to rush back or this, that, and whatnot. Because sometimes if I want, you know, if I want to go deep into it, then, you know, I'm sacrificing some ends to come on this show. You know, I just can't do that all the time.
Just in case you don't know, there are no checks for this. Nobody gets checks for this.
I was coming. I was gonna be on. I wanted to be on last week. Something popped off, but I wanted to be on last week with the Biz episode because I had watched that. I watched that show, and yeah, I'm telling you, it took me back. Like I'm telling you, I remember when Grease came out. I was in California, but I was in a child care center in Cudahy, which is in Los Angeles, right? And I was at that child care center. I'm talking about the way those white people loved Grease, like they had lived it and everything else, and so on and so forth. I didn't even remember that until I was watching the Biz doc, and I felt like they had described to me that I saw as a kid, you know?
Well, you
because
did,
I was
though.
Like, yeah.
Well,
I was like,
though. So that's the great thing. Like, people don't understand what it's like when you see somebody every day and they just like blow up or they're just like, and they're just around and everything, and they're still the same person when you do see them for the most part. And like, it's not like you saw them all the time. Like, I saw Biz at the oddest places. It's like it could be crazy. I could be like, and this is sort of like the Biz story. I could be in like Laredo, Texas, buying a cowboy hat, and I'll turn around and I'll hear X. Biz, what are you doing, Laredo? And he'd be wearing cowboy boots, or that was his story. Like, I saw Biz last time. Well, not the last time, but I was up on a vacation, a ski trip. Walked in the place. Who's there? Spinning. Biz. X. And I've been experiencing that X since I was like 14. And we were all like, oh, man, what's Biz? What is a Biz? What is a Biz Marquee? Before
they show East Junior High, too,
Huh?
They show East Junior High.
Yeah.
Even though I went to South, East is in the same city. It just, I'm telling you, it was like, I was like, wow, that was, I was there. I wasn't, no one, none of us probably, except for Grant a little bit, were extreme with the tapes and the new artist reviews over and over and over again, but we all tasted it. I mean, I remember, cassettes and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Slap? Is that a backward slap?
No. I'm just. Grant knows what I was saying. He was exceptional when it came to new song reviews, this, that, and everything else. I mean, I remember
Obscure
Grant
rappers.
walking down the damn hallway, singing some shit that I heard down in Florida and hadn't heard anywhere else except for coming out of Grant's mouth in the Brentwood hallway. There's a song from Throw That Dick. He was singing the chorus from Throw That Dick.
Grant knew all the, you did know all the obscure raps, all the obscure rappers. Yeah. Michigan, Washington State, Hawaii.
I love that shit so much, man. What's crazy? I went to they had the Rock the Bell show, the Force tour. But it's the Rock the Bell show with LL, Roots, Ice-T, Bone Thugs, MC Light, Common. Man, I went there on Friday, man. It was like it was my fucking concert. Nigga, full throat.
That's what's up.
I was going the whole night, bro.
That's what's up. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna wrap up right now, and I'd like to thank you guys both, Gene Hopkins from the A, Mr. Dub K,
by way of West Coast,
and Mr. I should never say that, and the City Wang Kang,
That's right.
Owner of City Wang.
2896 West Grand Boulevard, Detroit, Michigan. Come down and get you some.
And get you a little taste of Motown history down the block as well, Mr.
Yes,
Greg
sir.
Lancaster. So just in case anyone wants to see this, this episode, of course, goes up on Wednesday. You're free to check it out on YouTube for all like 3 of our watchers that watch us normally. And
that's us 3, ain't it?
No, it's not. It could be us 3. It could be us 3. I actually did an interview this week for one of the guys on Wisdom. It was actually a pretty cool interview. And it was based upon, this whole show is about porn. But it's about internet porn. How the internet is always pitting left against the right, white against black, up against down, cats against dogs, alligators against hippopotamuses. It's just always like, no matter what it is, it's always confrontational. And it was actually a really good interview. It was really interesting to get into it and to see how other people think. So I'm going to make an announcement when that one comes out, because I want you guys to take a listen to that. I've been doing a little bit more media work over the time, this last couple of days. It's like he covers a lot of things that we talk about how everything is pitted against everything else to keep you stupid, so that way you don't know the important things about like what's going on in Africa, what's going on in Libya, and what's going on in Oprah's backyard, when they find the kerosene cans that are stacked up, and they finally haul her away. To
a funny farm?
Yo.
They're coming to take her away. Haha.
In 5 months, I'm coming on the show like Rob did with no shirt on.
All right. I'll make sure to block your camera on that one. Born in Trouble. I'm going to check y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.